Common Roots Urban Farm is a community farm in downtown Halifax on the grounds of one of Nova Scotia's largest hospitals.
The farm is managed by Partners for Care on behalf of the Nova Scotia Health Authority. It's open to everyone and has almost 200 community garden plots.
Recently, the farm increased its accessibility with the opening of the Hansen Healing Garden. Halifax's Bain has the story.
Gardener Jody Van Eiderstein and I are at the opening ceremonies of the Hansen Healing Garden. Jody is excited for the event, which includes music, politicians, speeches, and a ceremonial planting. But she's just as excited to check in on the latest bounty from her vegetable garden.
Coming here every day that I make it here is just like Christmas. I don't know when I leave home what's going to be available to pick or pluck or plunder. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't have had 6 tomatoes today off my own plant. That thrills me to no end. And hey, I grew that plant. This gives apartment dwellers a chance to grow their own food, supplement the amount of food that you've got, particularly with low-income individuals. This is an absolute godsend.
The Healing Garden includes 4 accessible plots for people with vision loss. Features include bed locations close to concrete pavers so they are easily detected with a white cane, distinctive elements like fences, strings, and boards that help gardeners know which bed is which. Walkways in the garden are smooth and level, and there are 6 raised beds for people who are mobility impaired, perfect for Jody, who has limited mobility.
It is awesome because I can pull my chair right up in underneath and get right to the center of the bed or even reach right across.
The accessible garden was made possible by a Barrier Buster grant from the Hansen Foundation.
So on behalf of the Hansen Foundation, congratulations and thank you very much for doing this.
Mark Hobbs, a Hansen Foundation ambassador, explains why the Healing Garden caught their attention.
The Barrier Buster grant program is extremely competitive. There's a lot of demand for very, very valuable, accessible projects that need to be done throughout the country. But when you see a project like this that sort of equalizes the playing field on a social level, on providing opportunities, healthy lifestyles, healthy food. This project meant so much to so many people in the community that it was very, very clear that this was a priority for the foundation.
The garden is designed not only for gardeners, but also to be used by hospital patients and visitors as a park. That community aspect appeals to Jody.
All kinds of interesting characters come here. And I mean that in the best possible way. You get a total stranger will come up to you and say, hey, what have you got planted here? And you get talking back and forth and you find out a little bit about them and you make friends. Which, if this wasn't here, that probably wouldn't happen.
Beyond creating an accessible and inclusive community, a place to grow foods and flowers, the garden is also providing a little country in the city.
It's extremely important to have spaces like this to grow your own food. There's the reconnection to, if you'll pardon the term, Mother Earth, that most city dwellers have totally lost. It makes you a calmer, better, gentler person, a soul, so to speak. I love coming here.
What a great idea. Congratulations to all the people who worked to create the Hansen Healing Garden.
It sounds absolutely incredible. What really touched me is what Jody was saying about how the garden makes it possible for people with low incomes to have access to fresh produce. Produce is not always readily available at food banks.
For sure, which is probably why Common Roots also runs a market garden where volunteer newcomers work to grow over 2,500 pounds of food and flowers annually for sale and for donation to the local food bank.
Amazing. You know, I also liked what Jody was saying about how she feels like it's Christmas every time she goes to the garden because she doesn't know what she's going to bring home. You can see that the garden gives her a lot of joy, not to mention a real sense of satisfaction.
Absolutely.